I just had one of the most amazing evenings that I've had in a really long time. Last night I went to an event called Power Shot, sponsored by the Power Chicks and Go CEO. And what it is just a little chat with the Go CEO, Chris Flett, and he gives business owners, new and established, just some really great advice on how to manage their business and different ways that they can incorporate different strategies in order to create a really successful venture. And last night Chris talks about how to monetize your failures, and for me it was so dead on to what I've been thinking about these last couple of months. And if you've been keeping up with my blog, you know that I just had an epic fail in February where I failed out as a financial advisor and had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went and studied Arabic, and in May I decided that I was going to start my own business called Pennywise, where I offer personal budgeting services. And I've got the business all set up. It's completely official and I'm getting out there and meeting people. And so I'm in that point where I'm trying to monetize that big epic failure that I had in February and really move on and create something really exciting. And so last night's talk was so powerful for me because it really showed me that what I'm doing is the right track, and it really established new ways to move forward. And so what I want to do is share with you tonight some of the key points that I learned from the talk, Power Shot, how to monetize your failures. And before I get to the points that Chris Flett, the Go CEO, made, I want to first talk about something that the Power Chicks leader, Lynn Baldwin Rhodes, said. And she, in the opening statement, said that there's no failure, only feedback. So I think that's a really great mindset to be in, especially if you're in a time in your life where you feel like you have just failed. And if you don't think about it as a failure, but think of it as a learning opportunity and a time for feedback to really learn what didn't work, what does work, and move on from that, you can just grow so much. So that's really where I'm coming from right now, is that there is no failure, only feedback. And so now I want to move on to some of the things that the Go CEO said that just really, resonated in me, and I'm so excited to hear them. And the first thing, one of the first things he said was that people are slow to act because they fear failure, and it's this fear of failing. They haven't even failed yet, but it's this fear of failure that holds people back from chasing their dream, from going after the big win, from going after that client that they think that's out of reach, for going for that degree that they just don't ever think they'll get, going for that job, starting that business. So it's even just the fear of failure that's so immobilizing in people's lives. So you really have to overcome that fear in order to just even live the amazing life that you're destined to live. So that was really, something that struck me, was that people are slow to move to action because they're afraid of failure. So you just have to knock that fear out of your head and move on, and just tell yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What would I do? And do it. Just pretend that you can't fail, because you can't. There's no failure. There's only feedback. So just go for the win and be big. And another thing that the Go CEO said was that when something fails, you have to find ways to fix it and make it work. And so that's really just overcoming that failure, using the feedback, finding a way to fix it, finding a way to make it work, and just moving on. Brushing the past into the past, taking what you learned from it, and jumping on to something new. And another thing that Chris said that was so important to me, because I've really struggled with this over these last couple of months, is that you have to take responsibility in order to overcome your failure. So you have to say, yep, I messed up, and this is why, and now I'm going to take that and move forward. You can't you can't be in blame mode and overcome that failure, because if you're blaming someone else, you're not taking the feedback. You're just passing the buck. And so you really have to just stand up and say, yes, I failed, and I am going to move on and be stronger. And so I thought that was really a powerful thing, because I've finally taken responsibility for my failure as a financial advisor. It was because I didn't really want it. I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't me. It wasn't the authentic Stacy. And I've moved on from that, and I've created something that I really love and I enjoy, because I took responsibility and I learned from that failure, and now I'm moving on to something so much better. And Chris also said that to take responsibility for your failure takes extreme courage, and boy, does it ever. Let me tell you, just to look myself in the mirror and say, what, I failed. Somebody who's never really failed much anything. I was almost a straight A student. I graduated college in 3.5 years, and there never was really a serious failure that I had. And to look and say, I failed miserably. It was an epic failure for me, as not being able to succeed as a financial advisor. And it was hard. It took me months of self-searching to finally be able to say, I failed. And so take that courage and just enjoy the feeling of release that you get when you finally take responsibility and move on from it. And finally, Chris said that you have to trust you and take a gamble on you, because really you are the only person that is responsible for your successes or your failures. And that was so much just a fun little smack in the face for me, because I am, whether or not Pennywise succeeds or fails, I am my business. I am moving forward. I don't have employees to blame. I don't have a boss to blame. I don't have anyone else but myself. And I took a huge leap of faith. My back was against the wall, and I had a choice of taking a job that I knew I was going to hate, and I'm a miserable employee, so I would just be miserable. So I could take a job, or I could start my own business and make it successful. And I had those two options, and I decided that I was going to start my own business because I believe that I can make it successful. Nobody else is going to do it, but I can do it. I'm gambling a lot of time, a lot of money on the fact that, darn it, I can make this work. And so I really encourage you to believe in yourself, and to say to yourself, I can do this. I have the power to make a difference in my own life, that I have the power to take whatever venture that I want to do and make it work. Whatever you want in your life, believe in yourself, because you are the key to your success. And so I want to leave you with the same challenge that Chris Flett left us, and that is to identify the 3 biggest failures in your life. And they really don't have to be anything as epic as failing, as a financial advisor, or failing a multi-million-dollar company. Think about in your school days, what did you fail about? Think about in your job, what did you fail at? And find your 3 biggest failures, the ones that kind of make you cringe when you think about them, and write down and reflect on the lessons you've learned. And so that you can really tell that there are no failures, that there really is only feedback, and that you can move on from those. And then I'm gonna challenge you to take that exercise a step further. And if you really are looking to change your life, look at those 3 failures, look at what you've learned from them, and really think about how you can monetize them to be a financial success for you. Can you take any lessons that you've learned and make money from it? I learned how to do that. I failed as a financial advisor. I took the information that I learned from my advising practice. I took the information that I've been gathering for years as a frugalista, and I put the 2 together and took my failure and all that I learned from networking and from meeting people and just growing a business, and I've turned it into something that's going to be really successful. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. So think of your 3 biggest failures. Go ahead, write them down. and think about the lessons you've learned, and then think about how you can use those lessons for your benefit, whether it's maybe a new job track that you want to take. What career do you want to do? What business do you want to start? Where do you want to take your life? And really get excited about it, and really think about how you are the key to your success, which is very exciting because, you have the power. It's not your boss that has the power. It's you. You are your biggest strength. So use that. And I also want to encourage you to come to other Power Chicks events because they really are very encouraging and they're very helpful, and you meet a lot of really wonderful women that just can make a huge impact on your life and your business. So the next two coming up, the next Power Shot event is on July 11th at 5 o'clock at Pink Restaurant and Ultra Lounge. And Beth Bulow, the introvert entrepreneur, is going to talk about how to leverage your personality for profit. Something that's really exciting in these day and age, personal branding. So these are two really exciting events. So I really encourage you to come, and you can check out the Power Chicks' website. I've listed it below, and I really encourage you to go to that. And now also, on a side note, the event Power Shots are always held at Pink Ultra Lounge, and I just want to put in a big props for them because they always provide us with appetizers, and they're always delicious. But last night they had French fries as one of the appetizers, and they are the best French fries I have ever had in my entire life. And I am a French fry connoisseur, if I can call myself that. They were so good. So if you get the chance to go to Pink Ultra Lounge, for goodness sake, try their French fries because they are to die for and totally worth, the calories that you're gonna spend on them. So I'll see you next time.